Lions did that Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I seen this movie.
Was he from Dolphins?
Yeah, he's an offensive changes. I had this crazy idea.
Yeah, they were looking at him the very next day.
It's supposed to be, what they say, that Bears and Rams games Sunday evening is supposed to be.
My understanding, I'm not at all.
$80 for a high.
Yes. Soldier Field.
That's real football. I'll be watching it in my recliner.
I like football, but I wouldn't watch it just for you.
That's why I wanted Buffalo to win, because I want, when they have to shovel off the lines
Yeah.
and
Show the seats all
Yeah.
out.
Spend 15 minutes here and the tiles is right. And then.
Yeah, 6:30, you're right, Rams, Bears.
Yeah.
January, on Sunday, weather in Chicago.
Hey John, I have all the notes from the capital improvement plan. Do you want to hold on to them? Do you need them for this meeting? If they ask you questions?
Oh, yeah, I have 21.
We'll wing it.
Sounds good. I have them just in case.
Oh, yeah.
That's just.
Without coming and going, same time.
Those are all 10 miles. Yeah, water will freeze outside in like 15 minutes. That'll be good.
I love watching those games.
Well, my brother's delayed at the Chicago airport right now.
Are they delayed in Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. They said they-
Oh, that's the worst. I was delayed there the other, the worst airport is delayed.
Surprised you're not pulling someone out of a ditch right now.
I just got back.
Oh, there you go.
The chairs, you can't sit in them because they're this nasty vinyl.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
They're down, so they all hang down. Oh, yeah.
Let me know what day.
I was there, there's a big brouhaha because there are people sleeping in the lactation pod. There's these little igloos there that are called lactation pods. And it's great where you go through. And we're all staring, we're all snowed in. These are for mothers. Oh, in Chicago. It was like everybody for himself though.
Were you stuck there like overnight or something?
It wasn't overnight, it was supposed to go at 8 AM, and we got out at like 8 PM. 12 hours. It was awful. Just to get to Traverse City.
I got stuck in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I found like a quiet place and pushed two of those like barrel chairs
Yeah.
together. And I made a tent with my jacket, put all my stuff in there.
That was smart.
Wow, I didn't get robbed.
Yeah.
Rob in Chicago.
Rob was in Chicago.
No, you get robbed in Chicago.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That would just be suspicious, like, yeah, we've never had it.
This is kind of good for you.
But you know, everything goes through security.
Is this good?
Yeah.
Hook it up, pull them out?
Realize this-
Cash only?
With the nobody pickers, they don't check for mental illness, so
The what?
they don't check for mental illness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, look them in the eyes.
yeah. So we did around the
A corrosion specialist, right? They check for metal illness.
Yeah.
You need a bigger desk.
no ice cream chasing at all, 2 years in a row.
I don't salt, so Bill has something to do.
You get a percentage.
Yes.
You pull that lever back around corners. It's great, I don't know why that corner didn't get salted. Yeah. And Bill sits behind you just waiting.
Bill's got a mini post.
Yeah.
I got a water sprayer.
Yeah.
Spray it off.
I thought about you this week when we were talking about the spreadsheet for the year and stuff. Came up with a better plan. I took all 12 months and took my class and made my students rattle off the numbers. What would have taken me about 4 hours probably, took me about 30 minutes.
Crazy. Yeah, there was like 6 people yesterday at a planning commission and no one here today.
Roads are bad.
Roads are bad.
Call me in order. Brian, please lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Patton?
Here.
Tyrell?
Here.
Chapman?
Here.
Tyler?
Here.
Fox? Shearhart? And Drake.
Here.
Not
Number 4, approval of the agenda, January 14, 2026.
So moved.
All support. All in favor of approval of the agenda, January 14, 2026, say aye. Aye. Number 5, approval of minutes, December 10, 2025. All in favor of approval of the minutes, December 10, 2025, say aye. Aye. During the date. Number 6, public comment. No public comment. Number 7, reports. Police report. Scott.
I won't bore you with the details. In your package, you'll have a report for December of 2025, and then you also have the report for the year-end 2025. You also will see in one column, you'll have the report for basic statistics for 2024. So I went back, the time that I was gone through 2024, I caught up on those 4 months. did the year end, did all of 2025s, and then there's some comparables in there. So we'll kind of show you where we spent our time and our resources and efforts and stuff like that. Kind of a couple highlights on there. Part-time help was down about 69%, just because one wasn't working, the other one was kind of working. We're kind of lucky enough to have two qualified people that can jump in and do things. We don't have to pay for a lot of their training. They can hit the floor running. So it kind of helped out. The fact that they weren't working kind of saved us some money, which is in our budget. Obviously, we were well under that. And so it didn't really hurt us. We were up 7% on complaints, even though we were down with personnel. So the other nice part about it is mileage was down, fuel usage was down. So overall, I think it helped our budget out really well. So we were well underneath the allotted amount that we budgeted for 2025. Like I said, it'll kind of go through there and spell everything out. So if you have any questions, I know it's kind of a lot of information right now, but if you got time to look at it, if you have any questions, reach out and I'll kind of explain why or kind of get my insight on it, I guess. 2025, or at least December, at the bottom, like I said, a little bit of highlights as far as what we did. A lot of some trainings, some meetings, year-end stuff. December and January is a lot of time spent on just catching things up for the end of the year, getting things ready for the next year. So, Nick worked really hard on getting our department policy up to date, which at some point, if we ever get audited, that's ready to rock and roll. We've done that for quite a while. With a small department, it's kind of hard to have a, really active current policy because there's only one person really usually for like the department. So we're required to have one that's all up to date. So everything else is still good. So.
And the ice maker.
Mhm.
Didn't have somebody in the fridge.
No, not right now. Yeah.
Any questions? Great, thank you.
7B, DPW report, John.
December, besides snowplow operations, we had one water repair that led to 2 new service lines, a couple minor sewer repairs. Beginning of the month, we got our underbody back refurbished, got that on, that's working good. One minor repair on the yellow truck and minor repair on the commode, and that was the month.
Any questions for John? Ally, clerk's report, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle asked me to start submitting a clerk's report for the meetings, thus the clerk report. It kind of just goes through like what I do for the month typically. My bank recs are getting a little more difficult due to our new online utility billing system. But I'm trying to work out the kinks, so it's going to take some time for me to get used to it. I pretty much had it mastered until the new software, so kind of disappointing. I completed the equipment hours for the DPW, which is important. In December, there were no FOIA requests submitted. Ran payroll, of course. We cut checks on Wednesday. Michelle always reviews those beforehand. Under section 8, you can see the bank deposits that we received. Utility billings were sent out and were due on December 15th. They're mailed out November 17th due to technical issues. When past due notices were mailed, there was $4,128.64 in delinquent balances. We did get some of that back, of course, when people received their past due, but we're still waiting on some. I do my reporting to the state. Contacted everyone who wanted a seasonal campsite. We ran through the entire wait list this year to get them all filled because 2 people left. And I worked on our budget a little bit. I'm still fiddling with that until probably around when we approve it because I need to update numbers. And then our capital improvement plan, which will be presented tonight.
So now you got the delinquent utility bill number, but that's not the total, that's just the total delinquent bills, this is just for this billing cycle.
Yes.
So
Yep.
there's still over $4,000 that we don't have that we should have.
Yep. Yep, that was all on the past due register report. So, for that. Any questions? Yeah, any questions?
You can drive crazy. President's report. I don't have anything that's not already going to be covered. I do want to thank John and the other two DPW workers, Chris and Bill. That Cameron Street at M88 was awful. Coldest day of the year, and you guys are covered in ice, and then you had to go out and plow snow the following day. So again, I can't thank you all enough for doing that. It always seems to happen on the coldest day of the year. Personnel and finance report, Michelle.
So we met a couple of nights ago just to review and talk about different financial and personnel topics. And we just have a couple of recommendations that came from our meeting, just recommendations that the entire council should consider as we are putting our budget together and reworking the budget because of the police village shortfall coming up. We recommend that, if at all possible, we look seriously at implementing a monthly water and sewer billing system. I know there's lots of pros and cons, and I'm not going to list them now, but it's something to consider, particularly when people budget monthly, and we might be more likely to collect as much of the revenue that's due as we can if people get into the habit of paying their water bill just like their electric bill or their cell phone bill or their gas bill. Second recommendation is that if we decide to go with a monthly billing, if we are able to work that out, and I know that there are a lot of obstacles to that, but increasing the water and sewer base rate incrementally with each billing cycle until the base rate requirements are met to qualify the village for federal and state grant and loan consideration. I think it's easier, where we're at is like 20-something, and we need to be at 40-something. And I think if we gradually increase that amount with every billing cycle, people will be able to gradually budget for it more easily. So the current cost of living adjustment is 2.8%. And when we're looking at pay increases, we recommend that the pay increases be set at that rate. And then to reduce waste, labor, and the costs associated with producing paper copies, the committee recommends, and we've been talking about this for quite some time, that we switch over to Chromebooks that would have all the documents on them that we routinely and not so routinely want to reference. Meeting agenda, packet, all that stuff can be on a Chromebook, and it can be a pretty streamlined way to organize our materials. I don't know about you, but at home I've got a pile of paper that I don't know what to do with. I don't want to throw it away. I might need it, but it would be so much more practical to have those documents available as a council in a format that is standard for all of us. And then given the funding changes to the law enforcement department, we recommend that planned purchases be put on hold until 2027 to 2028. And then personnel, we talked about going through conducting the personnel evaluations in January. And we recognize that well-trained employees are key to a village's success. And so we recommend that employees attend training sessions and classes before they take tests to earn additional certifications. And to continue striving to earn those additional certifications. I know Allie is working on being a certified treasurer at this point. And And so we really encourage employees to get that extra education and get that extra training. The committee also encourages safety training and observances. We want to make sure that we're all up to date on our, I know that some of us are already EMTs, but our bloodborne pathogens trainings and the different, I don't remember those.
Sorry.
So nice to be retired. And so we encourage each department to examine whether everybody's been fully trained in all of those, what do we call them?
Guilds.
Fields, sure, classes, there was, those things, because you never know, you never know, when you're gonna have to deal with something like that, that's the nature of it. And it's important, the committee feels, to offer opportunities for supervisors to develop their leadership and communication skills. Leadership and supervisory roles take time and practice to become. We encourage the supervisors to pursue extra education in leadership roles. So, did I miss anything, gentlemen? And that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right, correspondence. Pam Singer from the Art Connection reached out to us. You all had the email. She wants to, in collaboration with Central Lake Public Schools, make a mural on Thurston Park Pavilion wall. About rapids. There would be adults there to oversee this whole operation. They pay for the paint, all that good stuff. The three concerns I had, one is to make sure the village has the final say on what's going to be going on there. Who is going to maintain it? They said the Art Connection would maintain it. And then I said the big one, vandalism. I said all you have to do is look under the bridge.
Should they just vandalize it as they're painting it?
Yeah, they probably be on one side of the walls and they'd be vandalizing on the other side.
So we can no fun to vandalize.
What signs?
Gorgeous signs in the village.
Say so we can say. I don't know, but that's where we're at. I talked to Brian about it. Brian, what are your thoughts? You're the.
Well, I think it's a good idea. That whole building needs painted.
Yeah.
The whole building needs to be torn down.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's a top coat you can put on it that keeps it bad.
Well, there is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look into that. I know there's stuff you can put on, just raw concrete, things like that. I think you can put it over paint.
All right, I'll tell Pam.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
but we definitely need to have a say.
So that would be the wall facing the lake.
I had a great idea. Do a wraparound mural. The whole thing.
So that we get the whole thing painted.
All right, so a wraparound top coat. I'll contact Pam.
We just have them submit their designs.
Yeah, submit the designs. Wrap around. All right, that's all I've got. I'll contact her and we'll see what she thinks. Approval of the bills, number 9. Total approved $118,910.99.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Patton, Tyrell,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yep.
Fox,
Yes.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
New business, monthly utility billing. Michelle, you were just alluding to that.
Can I talk about it?
Sure.
All right.
Or Kipper?
If the council, if you guys could chime in on your thoughts, we send out bills quarterly. And so other the other municipalities around us send them out monthly. We talked about how we would have to probably, if we do this, we would have to switch back to a postcard type format or postage. What are your thoughts?
My concern is the time constraints for, Ellie said it takes, if everything's in, it takes her a day. But John, how long does it take you guys to read all that water meters? You know,
Well, obviously, we're still working on updating.
does it take,
I don't even know if we're 50% to the touchpad yet.
so you're talking 4 or 5 days? So that's 25% of our month.
And obviously the winter, with snow on and be.
In the summertime, well, I mean, obviously these guys have been plowing a lot of snow this winter too, but during summer, spring, summer and fall, 25% of their month, 1 week a month is gonna be going towards utility bill reading. I don't know if we can free them up that much.
If we get closer, we get updated touchpads. We do have 2 tablets, we could get another reader. I think we could work it to have 2.
Well, maybe we should table it then.
What's the mean, why do we wanna do this? Is it a cash flow question? Is it-
Basically, Michelle brought up the point of that we might be able to maybe shrink the delinquent, the ones that go on to tax bills and stuff as opposed to doing the three-month thing, or the quarterly. We can adjust our, how many times we read, like as far as, we don't have to read it every month or
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
too.
needed.
We could do, I don't know how all that works out. Cause I know like for this quarter is just the base rate. And we don't, cause of the winter time. So, I mean, we already don't do it. Figure.
Obviously, we cut down and catching broken meters.
Right,
If it was all, once we get updated, I think you could read in 1 day and a half, 2 days. But I'd say we're about 50%, so meters are 190 plus the 200 plus time a meter. So you're still $78,000 just meters. Finish the rest of the town. So we've been putting it in every year. I think we've actually put a pretty big dent in this year.
yeah.
It is time consuming to do big bits out, something valve that takes longer to think.
It is labor intensive, for sure. But the fact remains that we gotta raise our base rates from 20-something to 40-something, and I think that jump will be, more manageable for the users if it's how much a month?
We're at $23.56.
You did a chart of,
You had that chart yesterday.
41's in the office.
it's like.
I know next November, at $2 a month raise, we would be up to $41.56. We'd be at our goal.
Yeah, so if we do a monthly billing, we can gradually, monthly, just like GFL is doing, and
Cable.
consumers and cable and everybody else, gradually raise the rates to where they need to be.
But if you did it every quarter, your chart there had it going up $2 a month every quarter.
$2 every month.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I meant, $2 every month.
Yeah.
So it'd be like,
$6 every quarter.
I think a lot of people really struggle, and I think they struggle with the idea that water is a utility and not a service. They don't see the water and sewer bills as on the same level as their electric bill. They see it as something the village is imposing on them. not that they're getting a utility. And so I think if they were, I mean, it's like, I think that if they were to get, and I'm not married to either way, we're just exploring this. But I would, if I got that little blue postcard once a month, I would treat that like my electric bill, you know? I would like to have it automatically deducted, I'd like to set that up. Can I do that okay, so I can set it up to be automatically paid every month. ACH out of my account, so I don't have to worry about it, just like all my other bills. And I think that will help people budget better. It's just,
And they can anticipate it.
they can anticipate it, they get their little postcard, it looks like other bills.
Well, it's not as imposing either.
Right.
If I get a $300 bill every 3 months, I mean, that's a little bit as far as budgeting. I know we've discussed this in the, in the committee meetings and stuff, and it's just, it's like an imposing monster that's gonna come in a 3-month period. And now, instead of being able to say, I know I'm gonna need $100, or, whatever it adds up to. I got $300 to come up. And with, some of the, retirees and stuff like that live on maybe just a social security check, to know that I can pull 100 out a month, but to pull that 300 out, that might be, a little bit better that they pay, would be able to pay on that monthly basis.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't think our DPW crew is ready for it.
No.
But, and maybe we can work around something so that it won't be imposing to them. We can still get our meters read, bill out. Yeah.
Why don't we just,
Why couldn't we just do the monthly thing for the base rate, and then 4 times a year they get their, it would only be 3 times a year, so we don't charge in the winter time. 3 times a year they get a usage bill at the same time, because the usage bill isn't that much. I'm trying to think what my usage bill, I think my usage bill last quarter was $27.
Okay.
So that would be a lot more palatable. 3 times a year, you get your base rate and your usage rate, which wouldn't be anywhere near $100.
Right.
If you're using $100 worth of, if you're using $75 worth of water in a quarter, that's, yeah, you've got a leak, so.
Or a laundromat.
Or a laundromat, yeah. So that was my thought. That way, it's still, as you would say, Kip, it's not the shock when you go to the mailbox and you're looking at your, 3 months of base usage and your water consumption. So, well, we can explore it.
How labor intensive for that, apparently though, they have them now do monthly bills and then do a separate bill for the usage.
Well, I've never had to do it before, so I'm not quite sure how it would be like set up in my system, but I guess once it's set up, it'd probably be pretty simple to do. Honestly, most of my time is spent stuffing the envelopes.
So would the postcard be, would the little postcard be more helpful than the?
Yeah, it would save me time on obviously stuffing the envelopes. It'll take me more time to put stamps on it because I have a stamp machine that I just go really fast with. But I bet I can do, because it won't fit on there. Yeah, I'd have to hand stamp them, but that would be the only time consuming thing.
Will it cost us a lot more in postage and whatnot to go to monthly versus
If we go monthly with postcards, those stamps are, I think, 20 cents cheaper than a regular stamp. So I save money there. However, it'll obviously make up for it later on. I don't know. It'd probably be a little more expensive, but nothing crazy, especially because we're not using envelopes. Envelopes are very expensive.
So we're doing 8 more, and a stamp, postcard stamp is what, then 69 cents?
I think it's 59.
59, yeah, 79. So
Yeah, it could have changed.
Then we got, how many users, 189? No.
Like 700.
Yeah, I did.
60 something.
Oh, no, sewer's 126. What's it?
594.
590. Okay.
Yeah.
I go a little high.
If we could figure out a way to break up the route in two and you're on 2 tablets. We have to find a reader, touchdown. That definitely speed things up. We have a backup tablet, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. One time our tablet broke and it was a really bad situation.
So if we send out 594 postcards, 8 times a year, at 59 cents per stamp, per year, it will cost the village $2,803.68.
Should have been 12.
So,
Yeah. It's just saying added.
Oh,
Additional.
okay.
Additional.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But then you're saving a little bit on the envelopes.
Yeah.
Copies.
Yeah, the ink.
Okay,
It would be
so-
less ink. Yeah, because there's always 2 sheets of paper in every billing.
We don't have an option to send out for only electronic billing. Like most of my utilities, I don't do paper anymore, it's all electronic.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for our older crowd. I know quite a few people who don't have computers or don't know how to use them.
For everyone, I just,
Yeah.
again, if, whatever we can do to meet the needs of the village and make it easy so it doesn't tax you, doesn't tax John.
Yeah.
You can go to our website, put in your address, and it will automatically populate how much you owe, which is pretty nice. So people know that it's coming up. They can already go in there and pay their bill.
But there isn't an option to just have your bills sent to you electronically, like, like save paper, just.
Yeah, no, there's not really. I typically have to, if people request them, I individually send them out. Like the school requests them, so I do that for them. And
And that's just the way the software works. It's not a choice that we've ever made. It's just, this is what we have, and this is what you get.
yeah. If there's an option to email them, but you don't get a like a ding back saying they actually sent. So it makes me nervous. So I just don't trust it to be reliable, and I just don't want to do that to someone.
You have to sort out the ones that go away in the winter and have to shut off. Don't send them them.
Oh, we still bill them now.
You still bill them, yeah.
They did use it, but now we bill everybody.
So I guess we gotta break it down into how to bill for usage. We wanna stay on quarterly or,
And this isn't even an action.
no, it's just a new business, so I guess we can think about it. Talk to John a little bit more and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, see John and Alan.
Okay.
Good talk.
14C, HSA and dental allowance payment change. Ellie.
So a little later on, it's an action item in case you guys want to do that. So currently we have a dental allowance where we have to pay out of pocket, bring the invoice back to the village, and then the invoice the village prints a check for them to go in cash. We're asking you to consider putting that dental allowance into our HSA account so we don't have to be reimbursed and we can just swipe our HSA card and call it a day and the village doesn't have to cut a check.
Does everybody use their full dental allowance every year?
No, but some max it out. But if you get like a root canal, for instance, that's going to take all of it.
So the village would just be saying, here is the allocation for your dental allowance, it's going into the HSA. Once it's in there, we don't really know where it's going, but it's supposed to be for dental.
Yeah, it can absolutely only go to health, something health related, no matter what. $800 would be is representing that.
Okay, questions for Ellie regarding the dental allowance payment changes? And all the employees were involved in this, Ellie, correct?
Yes, I asked every employee about it, and everyone liked the idea of it. Scott said he suggested it a few years ago. So yeah.
Way to go, Scott.
Well, it just makes it nicer that it doesn't involve Ellie taking extra time to write a check.
To reimburse you.
Like if I go get my teeth cleaned, I just drop the card in the case, instead of bringing an invoice back, she doesn't have to look at it, she doesn't have to make the check, she doesn't have to mail it out, wait for the bill to be paid.
12A, action item, approve the village council regular meeting schedule 2026. There it is before you.
I'll make a motion to approve the village council meeting dates for 2026.
All in favor?
Aye.
12B, approve council committees for 2026. Nothing has changed.
I have one thing before. Sure. You got another phone number on there?
Oh.
That's 350-8321. You can get rid of that.
Okay. Thank you, Kip.
Okay.
You got two numbers or one number? Or what?
There's,
Oh.
my current number is the 253.
Okay,
The other one is scratched out.
gotcha. Well,
Okay. Okay.
So you're no longer 253-1957?
No, that is my number. But there's another number on here, another phone number, but I'm just, I'm good with that.
and here's why you guys can't reach me, because my number's wrong. It's 231, okay, so finance and personnel, Michelle Potts,
How are we doing this?
231-459-8526.
That's yourself. And at the top.
26.
And under your profile.
And under my code.
Yep. And I'll update this and email it out tomorrow to everybody.
We get a tablet, so we automatically update it. And be all set.
Yeah.
And everybody else's information good?
Cool.
Turning the page.
Do you want, you need to?
Yeah.
Oh, motion, I'm sorry, motion to approve this. All in favor? Aye. Turn the page. C, approve Cherry Capital Cycling Club event permit for Sunday, July 9. Bike tour is stopped at Christian Park Pavilion. Ryan, any problems you see?
No, my wife rides in this ride usually every year, and it's a really a great organized event. A very good group of people. Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All in favor of Cherry Capital Cycling Club event permit for Sunday, July 9, say aye. D, approve capital improvement plan for the 2026-27 fiscal year. Planning Commission met last night and approved the capital improvement plan, so it moves on to the Village Council.
And then just to clarify, this is a plan, so we're approving that we have a plan, and then each step that we implement has to be separate tasks and items brought before the village council.
Correct.
I'll make that motion to approve the capital improvement plan.
All in favor of approval of the capital improvement plan for 2026-27? Aye. E, approve Kelly Horst as Planning Commission trustee. Kelly, or I should say, Patty Waite moved to Bel Air, and we needed to fill her spot. So Kelly Horst, as many of you might recognize the name, is our clerk treasurer, backup, what do we call her?
The deputy.
Deputy. And she does live in the village.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Turn the page again. F, approve the change of the total amount of the employee HSA contribution from $2,800 to $3,600 to include their fiscal, dental allowance effective for all future contributions.
Okay, so this is just, the HSA contribution goes from 2,800 to 36, and that 100, and that pulls in the dental. That's only,
That's the only thing. No more checks, reimbursement, bringing in a receipt from your dental office. This is the one that all the employees wanted to see change.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We're dealing with money. We can get a roll call, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Tyrell,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Fox,
yes.
Shearhart,
Yes.
Drake.
Yes.
Public comment, Matt, how are you?
Hey, great, everybody. Yeah, I've got 3 topics and, I'll ask you guys, it's the appropriate time. So as Rob said, capital improvement plan, we reviewed that yesterday, to the planning commission. There was a few items on there that, I realized I hadn't updated the village on in a while. And maybe the more appropriate time is when you vote on. One is the auto clinic, project and where that is, and the other one is the sewer project. I don't get you're on the sewer committee, but just kind of what we're at, John. I know obviously you're all okay, but I'm not talking about the infrastructure portion of it. I'm talking about the back end of it, and where we are with people and what's the whole thing. So I can give you guys a 3-minute update, or I can give you a 30-minute update. And I also just have a little update on fireworks. So, you guys want to hear all 3 in a summarized version? Or?
Yeah, it's a quick thumbnail, but if anybody has a specific question for you, they can adjourn the
So
meeting.
the auto clinic project, and that's the former Draco Auto Clinic. Just a little history on that. So about 3 years ago, as the DDA president, looked at properties around Central Lake and for the charter of the DDA, we want to look at areas that would be limited to further development by some other force or reason, and that may think it was environmental reasons. One of those properties was the Dover property, and the other one was the Draco property, or the main 2 that, in my opinion, were being held up because of environmental reasons. So we as the DEA got involved in getting us pushed along. So they were pushed along very nicely. They cleaned it up. There's some questions about should we go after them for retroactive stuff and things like that. But unless it's cleaned up, last time when I talked it over, they had a 4th sample that had 4 quarter results and good results. So probably just essentially cleaned up, and so we just left it up to put a for sale sign on it, or be able to do business, or we can pull it or whatever, but there's not really anything holding it back under the normal buy-sell process. The auto clinic process, so about 2 years ago, I got one, started working with Eagle, identifying what was really wrong with it, asking companies, why is this an issue? Why is it still on the brownfields list? That's my answers. Long story short, May of last year, the DEA was got approval, or the grant got approval for $500,000 to clean that up. So that was good. Part of that was having a viable buyer, a viable seller. You have to have that for the process for it to move forward. So it's just kind of sitting there, and it's just one person. There's no seller. There's no incentive really for Eagle to say, hey, we want to push progress. So we're going to do that. So Chris bought that before May. Got the grant, and we're ready to go. And then we found, and I'm not going to figure point anywhere. I was probably part of it too. We found the common wall between the former pharmacy and the auto clinic. Well, it's a common wall. Didn't recognize that as a potential hazard for demolishing. And the reason we chose demolishing it was we had 2, 3 engineers in there to look at, hey, can we rehab it, can we turn it into something historic, turn it into something new, all of them said, there's way too many inherent safety hazards with the foundation, which then gets into the walls, that we would, hope it would be better, and then the contamination on top of it, add another layer or two, knock it down and start over again, so that's what we're in store. There's a common wall between the old pharmacy and clinic that, and two demolition companies have now looked at it and said they're not gonna touch it unless, the pharmacy owner and Chris can agree to provide it, or look at shoring the foundation wall, which is the basement, or do something, and two companies said we're not gonna touch it from a risk standpoint because there's too much risk of operation in that building going on, so. There was I'll say this, there's a large pricing difference in what that property was worth versus what Chris was willing to pay. Up until just really last week, that number moved closer. I talked to the state, and the state is willing to bring that into the fold of the project, and the land is going, I promise. Willing to bring it into the project, but the question comes up, Chris has to match monies that the state puts into it to what he does with it. And I guess one of the things is if that property is purchased, it does count towards that money, but what would the village want? I guess one there, that's a very big open-ended question. Doesn't go toward this is not over anything, but would you want some parking lot, some building? Would Chris gave someone who was worried about some plans and whether he's going to do a build to suit type thing. We're going to make it safe, clean it up, put a foundation there, build in the basement that's big the safety hazard on one end of it, and build walls and then see where the market treats it. But part of meeting the criteria of half that was about $250,000. That really limits what he has to do on the size of the building, especially if he buys the property. So I guess what he reminds would a portion of the parking lot be public, would fit with the master plan, and so I guess now we looked at it as a cop out and something that the village doesn't want. So yeah, that's the summary, but that's kind of what it
With
is.
the auto clinic or with the drugstore also?
With the drugstore also. So the thing that changes if Chris does purchase the pharmacy is if he purchases it, we can get home companies to go in there and knock down a portion of it, because then it's not the liability. It's like, okay, we're going to give it a try. We're going to back it up over to the third bay and not just the portion that's the most unsafe down. We'll see what happens. If we can save those two portions of the building, that would be great. That would be viable use of it. Be more in there to store things up. Maybe some storage or whatever, but that the north end of the building has to be demolished at some point. We don't do it now with the strand money. It's going to sit there under it too. Yeah, so it's just going to sit there. It's going to be nice or potentially public health. Something eventually has to be done with it if we want this town to, this village to, I guess, stay the same or go forward. If we want to go backwards, then that's another story, but everybody wants to just go backwards.
What happened to the plan? He showed us over here like a barn dominium type thing with living quarters above it and shops beneath it.
Still a possibility.
Okay, so that's still viable. Knock down the pharmacy, the whole thing.
Well,
Right there, you got that building in the parking lot.
yeah, now the idea is to pave the back.
Yeah.
Pave the back, so it's one continuous public parking, better access, better snow removal, that kind of thing, that's still in the cards. So there's gonna be a lot of digging back there because obviously that's where a lot of reclamation still is, so it's gotta be done anyway, and why get up and put it back there, you don't want to pay it there. So it's part of it, now that's again part of the cost that Chris would have to incur. But whatever. So right now it's $500,000. I talked to the state yesterday, they think we can expand the grant, possibly get a little bit more money with that, and also let's go something for potentially a little more of half. And, you know, what do you do?
His half keeps becoming more and more.
Possibly, yeah. Right. But if you buys the pharmacy property, then, you know, that's money put towards that half, which takes away from building a bigger building over here, which may not be bad, I don't know, so.
Yeah. All right.
So I wanted to put out there, just ponder on to chew on a little bit. The second one is the sewer, and we haven't talked recently about that, but I had contacted two wastewater engineering firms that were both willing to talk to us. My life got busy, it slipped off my plate, and I haven't done anything with it. But I personally, I think we have, you know, it was in the capital plan over the next 5 years. We're gonna have to do something eventually with the drain field. How fast we do it and what we do with it, you know, that's not one person's decision. That'd be my opinion. My professional opinion on that is there are much more reasonable engineering options to do with that than have to build $6 million in a wastewater plant and push it out to the taxpayers. So it's worth it.
That's not even viable. I mean,
It's not even viable.
we did the math on it, 126 customers,
It's not.
and I already talked to our representative.
We can't do it. We can go knock down doors on trying to get grants and stuff, but you know, we'd be well on the list. So we need to come up with a solution, if not this year, next year, or following year, at least to have a plan on. Are we going to expand the drain field? Are we going to clean the drain field? You know, my option is, and that was the reason we put 3 wells in there not too long ago, is to prove to Eagle that is there really even a problem? And the data that I looked at doesn't look like there's a problem. Now that's with current use, but nonetheless, so, you know, first we identify what's the problem we're solving for, and, you know, are we chasing unicorns and rainbows, and I don't think we are, so, but we need to do something, everything you raise, just like we know, sewer projects and roads and stuff like that, so.
Look like a treatment plant or something.
No, there's a lot more, I mean, I think we can still use the drain field. There's, you know, the traditional stuff of 20 years ago was build big lagoons and hold it and put aerators in there. The science has gotten so much better than that. And again, I speak because I was in the food industry for 28 years, and when you talk about high strength waste, you can treat the stuff in a building that's controlled environment, you know, 1 operator or 2 part-time operators, or contract operators that watch over it. And, you know, pretty reasonable. So, you know, there's inherently problems with lagoons, so controlling your footprint is strategically the right thing to do. So that's what I'm talking about, but I just have not put the time into it. I know I'm gonna get a pay cut on that too, so.
Or we had fireworks.
Uh,
How's the township on fireworks? Let's start with that.
Well,
There you go.
yeah, well, interesting. So a little bit of the story is, so last year, 0.08% of their budget would be, was allocated towards what they, I say they could allocate towards something like that. So last month I approached the township and requested that they raise that amount to 5%, which is $70,000, which is the C average of what our other 4 adjoining townships do for their economic development and recreation budget. Out of a $1.6 million budget, that's $70,000. So next Wednesday, I'm going to that to see how receptive they are to doing that, and we will see. Every one of them is gonna go on it. We'll figure that out. So that's not the entire plan, but as part of the plan on where we get our funds, I will be asking you guys again for obviously the village's portion of that, and we all help out together with public fundraising and stuff like that. I think we did a pretty good job last year. This year, of course, everybody knows it's 250 years of freedom in America. So I want to put on a good show.
All right, Matt. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All right, thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I should have looked. I didn't even think about it. I bet it leaked in this cup, honestly.
Don't let that happen again.
I got your backup though, so
As usual.
staying prepared. Thank you.
I think we get the part to see on the end of the day.